Hi everyone, and welcome to this channel called Honoring the Mission That You're On. This channel is for men and women that are over 50 and looking at possible retirement, possible leaving their business or selling their business and changing directions, scaling up or down. It's for those that have been retrenched, or maybe you've got to the end of your career and you have now been told that you are going on retirement. And a lot of us are too young to retire. We don't believe in retirement. So if you want to retire, then this channel may not be for you, because here we talk about options on how to retool your life, change your life, keep moving forward, and don't be pushed down to average when you get older. So I've walked this path. I started again at 54, and that's why I'm talking about it, because I believe I can help many people. And it's just amazing what can be done if you put your mind to it. And I think it's quite daunting to say, I'm just scaling back. And like, what do you got to look forward to? Can you travel? Can you still live your life to the full? Can you enjoy your family? Are you fit enough? Have you got enough finances? It's always a question. So finance is a big question when you get older. What happens if you run out of finance? That's quite a scary thought. So there has to be some, if you want peace, then you've got to take action and do something about it as you get older. And we're not talking here about financial planning. There's some very good people out there that do that. And we're not talking about advice on what to do with your money. That's not what we're doing here. We're talking about, as you get older, how you're going to possibly grow another revenue stream into your life as you lose other ones. And I think you need to, I would like to think that we should be able to create value and do good work, not necessarily hard, but smart work, to create revenue into our lives by adding value as old as possible, and maybe the rest of your life to add enough value, whether it's looking after properties or looking after businesses or assets or whatever you do, whatever you built. How can you maintain that recurring income as you go into your 60s, 70s, and possibly 80s and beyond? Because we don't want to look at a time where you actually have zero income. I think that's quite stressful, because things can change, investments can change. So that's what the topic of the conversation is today. It's a quick one, but I think it's an important one. Obviously, finances is up there next to air we breathe. Without money, you're very limited in your freedom and your movements and what you can and can't do. So we're going through the 21 principles of change. And we're now on principle 3 and 4. And 3 is finances, and 4 is, what about first revenue? Once you've gone through that change, what then? How are you going to create another revenue stream? And it's very difficult. But I'm here to bring hope, to say it's actually quite possible, because we have a better chance. We're now starting with experience. We're starting to build revenue streams with experience, with knowledge of our market, of what we're smarter now than we were 30 years ago. Let's believe that. So it's talking about money, and I found it's quite interesting when you look at the flow of money or money creation. They say money follows order, which is something I heard a while back. Like the consultants used to always say to me, if you want to change a business, put structure into it. The more order and structure there's in something, the more revenue it attracts, which is quite true. I also heard something that says money doesn't like noise. It doesn't like chaos. Where there's chaos and noise, money leaves. Where there's order, quiet, and strength, and things are happening, and there's diligence, money gets attracted to that. It's like a river, capital. So I think that's quite true if you think about it. So how are we going to then create some order and structure where people will invest, people will buy your product, people will buy your service because they believe there's structure, there's order, they'll get their product or service, and you can add value to their lives and solve problems. So it's that sort of thinking. Now remember, as you get older, and say now you leave, you get retrenched, or you go into retirement, you lose your credit rating because you've lost your income. So when you want to rent or buy and they say, give me 3 months salary statements, you don't have that. So it comes back to the entity you're operating out of. You've got to create some turnover through an entity that can get its own finance, not you. So you can take a small salary and you work through a company, but that's another topic. But today it's about it's the finances, and it's not a long video today. It's about structuring your tax, which is also another principle, but it's mainly about the flow of revenue. What can you do to increase another flow of revenue into your life so you're not using capital to pay operational or living costs, which is not great. So we're not talking about your investments and your RAs. That's something separate. We're talking about cash flow. How much cash flow do you have? How long will you last without any income regarding the cash flow and the reserves that you have in your bank and what you've not investments, like I said, but how long will you last? And what is your budget? And then how low can you get your break even? So what I found is I had to get my break even very low. Lucky I had no debt, but the car breaks, there's things happen, you still got to live. And you need resources for that, and you need to allocate that very carefully. One thing I also realized is, of course, you're not going to get loans because you've got no income. And you've got to keep your costs, and you've got to shift things around to make sure that you can survive with an extremely low cost while you digging the well to build another revenue stream, which is exactly what I did. So if your retirement's coming up, say you've got to retire or you're going to be retrenched or whatever's going to happen in a year or two, or it's coming up quite soon, then be very prepared for that. And obviously, being prepared is like getting ahead of the game, and then your stress level won't be so much because you know it's coming. And if you're going to get a payout or you can work on contract, then that can be a good thing. But a payout could be great. Just be tax efficient on how you manage it, and make sure you get the right investment wisdom from someone, a financial planner, that can help you to create some interest-bearing money and investment, which is a good thing. So now you're sitting there, you've stopped your work, you're looking at options. And I think the wise thing is, if you know what's coming, like I said, then start looking at what you're going to do. So I started networking with people, and I got some consulting work, and I worked on some products that I knew in the industry I knew, and I thought I could, I did. I started selling and marketing certain products, and once again, it takes a long time to get the wheel turning, the flywheel turning. What we did, in one business, we actually bought another business, an acquisition is something that can really accelerate you a couple of years, because you're buying customers, and the organic way to find customers is difficult, and it takes long. So if you want to shorten that gap to income, then if you buy customers, it can really accelerate your whole turnover, your margins. It was actually amazing. It really helped us. And we actually bought a company in COVID, which really saved us and helped us with income. So you could buy, you could network, you could solve a problem, you could offer a service. How are you going to package that and market that? We'll talk about that in the marketing and in the digital video that's coming up soon. And then the first revenue, like I said, now have you got skills that you could solve problems? Like what I did is I helped various companies with their staff. I helped them with their marketing. I helped them with certain digital projects and paid media. So I started getting involved with as many people as I could, and also consulting them on how to structure their business, because that's what I touched on before in my career. I used to have a lot of staff. So whatever you have, so the advice I'm giving you is whatever you've done in your life, look at it very carefully and say, how could I offer that? If you're a manager, if you're in product, if you're in service, whatever you did, if you're in accounting or law, how could you, and then also who you could partner with, like to help them. We partnered with other agencies. So there's many ways to create revenue. Partnerships. I did some affiliate marketing where I sold software and I worked with people in the industry, and I got some affiliate income. That was pretty cool. And then I consulted other people on their sales. And I thought, what could I package that I've done, whether it's sales, marketing, operations, whatever you did, and go and offer that to specific niche markets and see if they will take it. Now, luckily, I've managed to get a few projects. It was hard. It took a while. But that really got me going, so I could start our digital agency, and I could start a few other product sales and e-commerce projects that we did. And it was scary, but it was great, and when it works, it's amazing. And then the path to break even was quite a challenge, because now, after a year, after 2 years, you're losing. You say, okay, now I've invested, I haven't got debt, but I'm also using up some capital, which is a nasty thing to do. You don't want to use your capital at all. It doesn't matter how much you have. The principle of going into your investments and capital to live is something your head's underwater, basically, and you've got to look at it like that. So how do you start getting enough oxygen or finances to keep your head above water and preserve your investment and the interest-bearing accounts and the money that you have? Which, like I said, it doesn't matter how much you have. We're talking about the principle. If you're 60 and you're going to live till 90, you still have a long runway. and costs are going up, and things are changing, and the way you live is different, and you may need more security, and you may need the right food, and the medical aid, and the investments is crazy when you look at the costs of just getting sick. So stay healthy, because we can't afford to get sick. So I think that's today. It's about preserving the revenue you have, and definitely starting to work creatively in how can you solve problems out there. Buy a business, which some of my fellows connections have done, and it's been pretty good, because, like I said, by this stage we should know what to look for. But be careful of dead assets or old aging assets that you don't want. So position yourself in the market where you can solve a problem, network with the right people, find a product possibly that you could sell, which I think is product sales are great, because you can scale them where you're limited in your time. Do some consulting. And I think if you start that, and you start, maybe it takes a year, maybe it takes 2 years, but you start attracting that revenue into your life to the point where you hit break even, your head's above water, you're free, you now can employ people to help you build those machines, those income generating machines. So you can employ younger people to work with you and for you, and now you can see the wheels starting to turn. And I think when that started happening to me, it was like a real breakthrough, and it was amazing to not use your capital, not use your investment. So that's the red light, and the warning for today's video is protect the asset and build revenue streams into your life. And I think it's one of the most creative things to do is to build a business. It is not an easy path, but I'm here to say that sorry about that. I'm here to say that it's possible. And that's pretty much the gist of today. So what we do every time is we just honor God with a psalm. We're always grateful for every day that we're on this planet, and we honor God, and we read Proverbs. So this video, we're going to use Proverbs 12:24. The hand of the diligent will rule, while the slothful will be put to forced labor. Anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good word makes him glad. And just one more verse. One who is righteous is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wicked will lead them astray. So I think what that's really telling us is, we don't want to be slothful in our lives. We don't want to live like that. We want to live with more order, where revenue will be attracted. We don't want to have anxiety. But the one thing I didn't say is that those quiet times that I had in the mornings, when I honor God and I ask the Lord to help me, the Lord does help you. The wisdom does come, and the Lord does restore. I really believe in the principles of the Bible, and that the Lord Jesus Christ saved us. And I think as you get older, you start seeing that the miracles that you still hear, and that you see miracles in your life. I've definitely seen many miracles in my life, and when I've needed help, even financially, and favor in the marketplace, and what to do, there's so many options, so many things going on, and to sit quietly and say, Lord, help me. Just help me. Give me that advice. Give me that wisdom and knowledge and insight, so I can make a good decision. Because trust me, I've made some very bad ones that have lost revenue. But you've got to step out and do something and say, Lord, help me. Just help me to start something. Don't always, and if something fails, maybe there's a learning curve. I've paid a lot of school fees. I started a few companies that didn't really work. They actually didn't work. And I invested in them, and they didn't work, and it's not a great thing. But then, you go back to the Lord and you say, help me, this is not great. And the Lord will steer you. He does. He steers you into the right direction. So you're in your blessing, you're in what you're good at and what you should be doing. And I tell you, once you're in that path of your purpose, of why you're on this earth, and once you get that flow going, and there's peace and there's order, it's miraculous. Things start happening. And then you start saying, I better honor God with this business. I better honor God with my life. I better start really honoring God that loves us and that helps us, because He does. But sometimes the path you're on can be a bit hectic and not so easy. So that's it for today. We've got the rest. We still got to work through all the other principles, which I believe can add value to anyone's life at our stage in life. I've walked the path. I will not lead you where I haven't been. So I look forward to sharing more principles with you. Subscribe to our channel, like it, share it. I really want to help as many people as I can because of what I've been through. And we'll talk about some more obstacles and how we got through them, and just how the Lord showed me the right way to move forward. So we honor God, we help other people, and we think big. And have a great week. Cheers.